first of all?
Well, I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I'm in exceptionally good health. And that's what matters most. I mean, people talk about age. It's nothing to do with age. It's all about health. And if you've got good health, you can get away with a lot. So I'm very lucky in that respect, Rob. And I'm also, of course, very fortunate. I'm still involved with the game through the Dallas Cup. And so that keeps me interested and keeps me in touch with a lot of good friends. So in answer to your question, simple, I'm doing fine. I'm very happy about it.
You're looking magnificent, by the way, let me tell you. What's the secret? There must be a secret.
I think discipline. I think discipline of intake in food and drink and such, and keeping mentally active if you possibly can. I think the good health that you had as a former player and coaching and being a manager all those years also helped. But I think in general, discipline of yourself in terms of your lifestyle and your, as I say, particularly in food and drinking, that all helps. Keeps you slim, keeps you active. And so I'm, as I say, very blessed.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Do you still have a great love of the game? Does that increase or does it go, or is it still the same?
Oh, I think it's even more so now because thanks to the Dallas Cup, I'm deeply involved in bringing the top teams in. Like I've just negotiated with Arsenal through the league, through the Premier League, and then also I'm trying to bring teams in who are underprivileged kids. I'm dealing with Liberia at the moment, and I've just had a meeting with them, and they're going to send a team over in 24 under 16 because it'll take us that amount of time to get it organized with finance and such. So no, I think because of the Dallas Cup and all that it's involved, it's so interesting because it's internationally. I mean, the year before, and I mustn't go on too long, but the year before the pandemic, we had 70 teams from overseas from 40 different countries.
Amazing.
In Dallas for that 10-day period and the Dallas Cup. So, it's a fascinating and unbelievable organization. We have 32 committees, 2,000 volunteers. We book 8,000 hotel room nights for that period. It just goes on, but it's great. And it's great to be involved. And as I say, I think it helps me greatly.
When you look at young players, not necessarily any age, can you spot a player? Can you spot a talent? Is that something that you've always been able to do?
I don't want to boast, but I think yes. I think I don't know. I was very fortunate. I got involved in coaching very young when I was at Charlton Athletic as a player, and so therefore I was meeting the top coaches at that time, the Ron Greenwoods, the Walter Winterbottoms, and I got selected to run various international youth teams, the England youth team and such. So you were out looking for talent, but I think I always had how can I put it? There was a type of player that I wanted. I wanted a player who was very skillful in ball control, always. So all my teams, and particularly Queen's Park Rangers, every one of the players could handle the ball comfortably. They were very comfortable on the ball. Their control of the ball was excellent. Their ability to pass. So I think looking for youngsters, they were things that I would look for. Their awareness of the teammates, their ability to control the ball and pass well.
Tell you what, the basics. But there were basics on terrible pitches as well, weren't they?
My daughter has a photograph of me playing against Middlesbrough, marking Brian Clough, and it's a mud bath. And when you see the beautiful fields today, it's chalk and cheese. It's just so different.
I mean, you signed Stan Bowles, you had Rodney Marsh virtually at the Rowdies and QPR for certainly a spell. I mean, people like Jerry Francis. I just wonder what they'd be like on these pitches. I mean, they were wonderful players anyway, weren't they?
Oh yes, but I think that those particular, I mean, you had a few more of them, Bowles and Marsh and Francis. They had good technical ability, so they could play on all surfaces. But again, it was difficult on those muddy fields, and you know, the ball stuck and his head got heavy and such. But no, when it's beautiful when you see the gorgeous fields now, the opportunity to play good interpassing and such, it's there.
At the same time as well, I guess when you were marking Brian Clough, you were allowed a reducer, weren't you? You were allowed one from the referee, give him a good kick first off, which you're not now, are you?
No, I mean, they're much stricter, and that's good for the game. There was a much stronger, you're right, a much stronger physical aspect to the game in those days. And, you know, there's Ron Harris who was at Chelsea, and Chopper Harris was his nickname. But I don't know. I suppose I never thought about that, Ron, but I suppose referees did not jump on that sort of play as much as they do today. But no, it was a much more physical game in those older days. And I think it was slower. You know, the speed of the game today, you've got to react quickly. In those days, I think the game was slower, therefore players held on to the ball a little longer. There was more opportunities to have a clash and a tackle.
You're on record as saying that period, the first period at Queen's Park Rangers, with the Bowles, the Givens, the Dave Thomas you signed, you had Dave Clemency and Gillard, was possibly the best of your club career, certainly in England. Is that fair?
Oh, yes. It was an incredible spell at QPR because we were up. I mean, selling Marsh was the most important factor. I know that sounds strange, but what had happened, Rodney became unhappy. He wanted to go to Man City. They'd already spoken to him when they shouldn't have done. But anyway, that's another story. But he wanted to go. So eventually, the board and Mr. Gregory, Jim Gregory, decided to let him go. That gave us the finance, Rob, for us to go out and get more players. And so we were able to bring Bowles 1, Givens 2, and Thomas 3 with the money that we had sold Marsh for. And that added to the, Jerry Francis, and Venables was still there, of course, at that time. He was the leader, the captain. And then we added Frank McClintock, but Clements and Gillard. And I think at the end, every single player in the first team was an international. Incredible. I mean, even Terry Mancini got picked for Ireland. It appeared he didn't know at first it was his grandfather or something. But anyway, he played for Ireland. Everybody was an international. So it was a beautiful team. They were very skillful. They were very enthusiastic. They wanted to succeed. To go every morning for training was a joy because their attitude to the training, and many came back in the afternoons to practice free kicks and things because they wanted to be the best. And eventually, we were a very successful. We got promotion to the first division. We succeeded in the first division. We finished our first season in 8th position. And then we also won the newspaper, the Sun Award, to being the most attractive playing team in the first division. So it all happened pretty quickly, but it really was a joy.
I'll talk about America in a second. Can I just ask you about Frank McClintock? What kind of personality, what kind of player was Frank, who I know very well?
Sorry, Rob.
Can I ask you about Frank McClintock?
Oh, yes.
What kind of player? What kind of influence? What kind of bloke?
It was the best signing I made because we now were coming up in the first division. Me, a young manager, no experience of managing in that division. The players, most of them had not played in that division. So when we found out Frank was available, we made the approach and we talked him into joining us. And what he brought the knowledge of the first division. We made him captain, but he brought the knowledge. He was a born leader anyway. And so he was able in training, in tactical talks, etc., team talks, Frank would be able to bring us up to date on our opponent. He was well versed with the first division, and he was a great asset to all of us. I sat with him for hours talking about potential teams that were coming to us, players who were coming to us, So his knowledge of the first division at that time, it was heaven sent to us.
How did you end up in America? They call you a pioneer, your autobiography, a pioneer. Why America? How did that was unheard of in what, 67, going back even further?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was with Fulham as the coach, and we got an invitation to come across to the United States. We should never have done it because it was in season, and they were just starting to promote soccer and build it. So they'd invited Fulham to play Honved in San Francisco, and Real Madrid, I think, played West Ham in Las Vegas or one of the other cities. Anyway, I came across with Fulham. We played at Manchester on the Saturday, flew out of London on the Sunday, arrived in New York on Monday morning, flew on to San Francisco, then played Wednesday, left Thursday, and got back to England Friday, and then played Blackpool in the first. We should never, ever have done it. But it was a marvelous trip because it was my first visit to the United States, and to go to a city like San Francisco was just incredible. And of course, during that short period of time, I met a lot of the United States soccer people. And when I came back, I started getting these invitations to come back to the United States and coach. And there was an opportunity to go to Baltimore, and I decided that I would take it. So I came across, but the league was struggling. It was a very difficult job. And after 2 years, we decided to come back to England, and I was fortunate to go straight to QPR. But that was my first visit to the United States. And so after that, I regularly got invitations to come across again as a coach. And eventually I came across to the Tampa Bay Rowdies in, I think it was around 78, and been here ever since. So that started it. The trip by Fulham and my first visit, that kind of attracted it to me.
How amazed, how pleased are you to see the development of soccer to like the US men's team now to what it was back then?
Oh yes, I mean it's come in leaps and bounds. But I'm going to say I came across in 68 and through 70, and it was really struggling. Well, then in 72, and I really traced a lot of this, the professional clubs made the right move. They started to get involved in youth soccer, forming youth leagues, youth camps. Players were going to visit the kids when they were training, and that's what built the soccer. The kids, they went after the kids market, and of course the kids wanted to come. The parents would have to bring them, and that's how it started to build an awareness and an audience to soccer. So 72, a lot of the professional clubs did that. And again, way back in 84, when I went to Dallas Psychics, indoor soccer, we then did the same thing. We went out into the community, into the youth market, ran soccer camps, visited the teams, and that built the audience. And now today, the league is very, very successful. The MLS is well financed. It's a pretty good standard. It's improving all the time.
How did you find out you were getting an MBE?
Oh, it's a long story, but basically, I had a call from England one Monday. A friend, my best pal, John Glyde, would watch the program Panorama, and Shimon Peres, the Israeli Prime Minister, was on the program, and he said the only way the two countries, Israel and Palestine, were going to come together was through education and sport. And he built 4 schools in Israel to accomplish that. And then John said they have an under-12 boys soccer team, 9 Palestinian and 9 Jewish boys. So he said, ready-made for Dallas Cup. So of course, cut a long story short, I made contact with Shimon Peres' office, told them who we were, what we'd like to do, brought those over, and we got worldwide publicity. It was incredible. And it was great to see these little boys together. And we put them in Dallas team's home. So there was an Israeli, a Jewish, and an American boy, all 12 in the house. And to see how they got on, and the main story was in an interview on television, the one Palestinian boy who spoke English, the interviewer said, "How are you getting on with your Jewish teammate?" And he said, "When I came, he was my enemy, but now he is my friend." And that went, wow. When it got back to the studio, we got worldwide publicity. And then the ambassadors here, the United States representatives, English representatives, they contacted the Foreign Office, and the rest is history. They called me and said, "You've been awarded an MBE, and you have the opportunity to go to Buckingham Palace, visit with Queen Elizabeth, and receive the award." And so it was a very proud moment for me to receive that, and think it was really all down to a young under-12 boys team playing in the Dallas Cup.
Brilliant. Listen, throughout your career, tell me who's the best player you've either played against, played with, coached, or seen? Who's the one? Who's the best?
Well, I think for me, probably the best player ever was Pele, with Cruyff being close to him in terms of world soccer players. Again, it was very difficult to say the best player that I coached, because each player has different attributes. I mean, as I say, Venables, Frank McClintock, absolute great leaders, good players. And then you've got to take Marsh and Bowles and Thomas being exceptional forwards, and then Jerry Francis, whole series of them. So when I had the opportunity to write a book, I decided not to write about the best player. I picked a squad of players and said that they were the best that I'd coached. But that group from QPR were exceptional. It was just an incredible, talented group of young men.
Listen, Gordon, thanks for joining us. You take care, and lovely talking to you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and good wishes to you and your family, and to all the soccer enthusiasts back home. And as I say, I'll be a regular visitor. Thanks to the Dallas Cup, because we bring a lot of your teams over. We just have been notified Arsenal are going to come next year, Easter, with an under-18 team, and Everton ladies are coming over for the girls tournament. So nothing but good support. Thank you for the opportunity. Keep well, and every good wish. No, I think because of the Dallas Cup and all that it's involved, it's so interesting because it's internationally. I mean, the year before, and I mustn't go on too long, but the year before the pandemic, we had 70 teams from overseas from 40 different countries
Amazing.
in Dallas for that 10-day period and the Dallas Cup. So, you know, it's a fascinating and unbelievable organization. We have 32 committees, 2,000 volunteers. We book 8,000 hotel room nights for that period. It just goes on and on, but it's great, and it's great to be involved. And as I said, I think it helps me greatly.